Hello everyone, welcome. Today's going to be an interesting video. I'm not talking fully about astrology today. I've made mention of this. I kind of had a download to do a video about this. I'm not really sure what I'm going to call it, but the original title that had come through was if you are overly concerned with what is happening somewhere else or on the other side of the planet, then you're gaslighting yourself into thinking that you don't have to do the inner work. And, my intention today is to offer some validation, to trigger some of you, to offer a beautiful moment of gratitude for the trigger. We're going to be talking about the old ways of wisdom versus the new ways of wisdom in this new world. What else? And a few tips. Actually, I have one tool for you to think about after you watch this video to kind of show yourself a little bit of, am I checking out or am I looking for information? Am I looking for something to overly validate what I'm in? Because if you're looking for a validation, you'll find it. And if you're looking for a problem, you'll find it. And, we've discussed before kind of that even processing in and of itself, there's trauma underneath trauma underneath trauma. You can find it. You can find something, oh, what did this mean? What did this person mean by that? What was the big meaning of childhood sexualization? What was the big meaning of this happening, of this happening, of this happening? Because a lot of the times we don't want to look at the boredom that is going to come, after the awakening, after the ascension, after everyone has everything that they need. And, I've referenced this a few times in a lot of my videos. And if you've ever met me just like at the cafe or on the street or at the grocery store, I've asked this question to you before, which is, what would you do today if I handed you $1 billion? But everyone else on the planet also had $1 billion. So you didn't have to save anyone. You didn't have to worry about, like if time or money were no object. Everybody on the planet, including yourself, had infinite time and infinite money. What would you do today? Because that's the worlds that we're working towards. That's the worlds that we're walking into. That's the worlds that we're creating every day with our thoughts, words, actions, and intentions. So it's looking at the savior complex, looking at so many different things that I know better than this person. It's usually what happens with the trigger. And so I don't know, I've got a timer on for laundry. It's the kitchen timer. So if that goes off, my apologies, because I didn't want my timer on my telephone to go off, because I just want to be able to chit chat with you as long as I need to on this one, because I love, as you can see, long range content. And I will do my very best to timestamp it, because I'm going to try to go for some specific blocks. But this is the way that I do things. It really is. I'll start with actually go pause this video and go grab your coffee or tea if you've not been here before. That's how we do things around here. It's just you and I having coffee over a multidimensional quantum space. Thank you, YouTube, for showing us that. You can grab your journal if you'd like to take some notes, and we will use Nasha. Little Nasha for the pause today. So go pause the video, grab your coffee or tea, and we're just going to sit. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of things. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I'm drinking a cup of calm, the traditional medicinal. The creation of 1,000 forests is in one acorn. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I really like that quote, because we know as awakened ones that we are a droplet of the ocean and also the ocean. We are God having a human experience. It's the theory of the egg. I'll put this beautiful little video below. It just encompasses the egg so clearly. So I'm going to first, because I wanted us to have some definitions, I printed out 2 definitions of gaslighting so we can chit chat about that. One is Merriam-Webster, gaslighting. Now, psychological manipulation of a person, usually over an extended period of time, that causes the victim to question the validity of their own thoughts, perception of reality, or memories, and typically leads to confusion, loss of confidence and self-esteem, uncertainty of one's emotional or mental stability, and a dependency on the perpetrator. This one is from Psychology Today. I just wanted to have 2. Gaslighting is an insidious form of manipulation and psychological control. Victims of gaslighting are deliberately and systemically false-fed information that leads them to question what they know to be true, often about themselves. They may end up doubting their memory, their perception, and even their sanity. Over time, a gaslighter's manipulation can grow more complex and potent, making it increasingly difficult for the victim to see the truth. So I have myself, I'll share a personal tale. I have myself been the victim of gaslighting before in a micro as well as in a macro capacity. And so in a micro space, I was engaged to living with, working with, dating a verbally abusive gentleman. This was many years ago. And if anyone's interested in the longer range of my human story, my entire playlist, Waking Up Post Woke, is for you. I discuss at length childhood trauma, adolescent trauma, all the different traumas, and how I've come back to tell the tale. So if you're interested in more of that, go ahead and check out that playlist. It's a long hours and hours and hours of my human tale, and why in every sense, because as leaders, we speak from I statements here at my cafe table. I can only speak to something that I myself have experienced. I'm a mystic, so I've gone down all these dirty little rabbit holes to come back to tell the tale, to offer you the story, because storytelling is just the way of the world, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on when it comes to the old ways of wisdom versus the new ways of wisdom, like the old healer the whole old healer archetype and the new healer archetype, and how storytelling is very, very important to the way that human beings have existed for the entire time that humans have existed, and reverence for that. But this is, we're just chit-chatting about an experience and a mentality that's very, very dividing right now, but also very fascinating. So I love to look at these types of experiences from the perception of the term interesting. And as you know, a very, very powerful sage and mystic has said to me once, or she said to her mother, like, interesting is neither good nor bad. It's just a perception that is popping out at you. And maybe triggers can be interesting. So with all that being said, micro gaslighting. I'm being with a verbally abusive person that was had narcissistic tendencies. I don't like to really say like, you're a narcissist, because he was not diagnosed as a narcissist. He just had extremely narcissistic tendencies. And he had really got me to believe that I could not do things on my own, that I was not allowed, I couldn't go on walks by myself because I couldn't defend myself. He really, every single bit of my life was under his thumb. And it took years for me to come back from that. I'd also lived in a situation, or let me rephrase, I've been living with myself for the past 2 years, and it's an incredible, incredible blessing. And it's taken me sometimes to this day, this still happens, where I'm not comfortable to make noise in my own home, because I either live somewhere where I was not allowed to make noise. Even in my childhood, growing up, with alcoholic parents, where, from like 5 until 5:45, make a ruckus, ask for the permission slip to be signed, all the different things. That's totally okie dokie. But from 5:45 till probably about 6:20, pack up all your things, go into your room, do not make noise. You don't want anything else. You basically don't exist. And you just take care of yourself, and you run your own show, and then you go to bed as soon as you possibly can. That's my background. From a macro scale, I have been under the woke spell before. In 2020, I was identifying as fae, fairy, they, them. I at the same time was unpacking some really interesting sexual experiences. I was sexualized in a very odd way. I was in roaring pain. I needed my parents in a very, very desperate way. I was borderline homeless, and all I wanted to do was protest and help people that I was told were marginalized in every capacity and that I needed to pity. So that's our foundation as to why I'm going to be speaking openly and honestly and brazenly towards this. I've also worked with healers. I've also, been in healing sessions where just the old ways of wisdom to the new ways of wisdom. I'm just like, this is like the table of contents, and then we'll go into it in the timestamps. I've been in sessions, as a channeler. I can't see my own shadow. I can't see what's behind me. So I'm now working with a healer shaman that is, very fluid in the way that they give information, and I really take to it, and it's an honor back and forth and a reverence for each other's gifts and things like that. But I've been in sessions where my guides have given information to the person holding space for me, and they said, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. I've had healers tell me, I'm not here to stroke my clients' egos, because they saw my stage, they saw my platform, they saw the future image of what it is that I'm doing on this planet, that I have seen the stage since I was a child. So I've been preparing for that stage my entire existence. It is an absolute gift and an honor to be here. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm here to help. This is my last lifetime. I'm choosing for it to be my last lifetime. And so I'm leaving this information. It doesn't matter when you see it. It doesn't matter how you see it. My new guidance team, and I'll speak to that next, told me, get rid of those hashtags, honey. Get rid of any of it. We are your algorithm. We are here to help, and we are going to send your information at the time and the place where it is meant to be seen, at the time that is meant to be seen and heard. So I don't have to worry about that, nor do I anymore. I do not care about that. And so I, appreciate every single one of you. I think even a few months ago, I had people that were like, we're watching your content to get your views and your likes up and stuff. I appreciate that. That's beautiful. But if you're only watching it just to help me, that's not the point of any of this. That's not the point. I'm here to offer information. If it resonates with you, then listen to it. If it doesn't resonate with you, then scroll right past my face. Then I'm not for you. That's it. That's literally it. And it's the compassion and the kindness of your heart that I hear you and I feel you and I see you and I honor you. But if you're just putting me on just to be like, Sarah needs to be seen by everybody, then just, watch it if it resonates with you, and then send it to one person that you think could benefit from the information, and then go play outside and go integrate those practices into your life and be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. That's my wish. Every single year for my birthday, the one request that I have from you is to be a little like, what would Sarah do? She'd be nice. And actually, let me rephrase. She wouldn't be nice. She'd be kind. She would set healthy boundaries. Maybe she'd cut someone out of their life because they don't serve anymore. She would do something a little bit more ostentatious. She'd present herself a little bit differently. I want you to be the most authentic version of yourself. That's how you can help me. But actually integrating something that you've learned from my channel and moved along. I find so much reverence now. It wasn't always this way. Since some videos they've gone viral, and then it's just the subs have plateaued, and I'm like, what have I done wrong? Where it's people don't need you. That's the goal, Sarah. If that's the goal, then live into your own practice. Okay, so just a little update. And I'm only going to give a little bit of it, is that last week, a week ago tomorrow, it was the new moon in Taurus, and I had the most powerful healing session, the most powerful shamanic healing that I've ever received in this human lifetime. Some of the guides that I've had since I was a child have left, and I have a new guidance team that are partial, a few new guides have come in. 4 new guides have come in. And so the way that I'm channeling is different. It's very conversational. It's very different as far as it's taken a lot of time to really integrate, and I'm still integrating that, as well as I've been completely sober and I have not ingested any cannabis. And that is not going to be for everyone. It is an absolute incredible medicine. It is helpful for many people. I really have to kind of look back and see when the first time that I smoked was, but it's been either 13, 14, or 15 years of my life. I'm 37. It's been a long time. And so I'm giving myself grace as I integrate this. My dreams have been so powerful and so potent. They are lucid. It is incredible. I just go from going to bed, sleeping, astral traveling, dreaming, Herkel-Durkering, astral traveling, sleeping, quantum channeling, it's so magical. There's nothing that, I still, enjoy a Scylla every once in a while, like once a quarter or something like that. I'll do that and let my brain reprogram. But it's the day after that I appreciate, because it's like traumas are, being crystallized down into bite size, and they can just like out of my being. So for those types of things, I'm an advocate for that, but like 4 times a year, maybe. So I'm really stepping into an incredibly clear space to channel. And so I'm here for it. Like I said, it's been a week, I'm integrating it. And so it's more magical and more powerful than any other substance I've ever ingested could ever possibly be. And if you're new to my table, if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Sarah. Nice to meet you. Yeah. And so my baseline is 3 universes, a quantum 3 universe. So I'm looking at you, and then my guidance team and my higher self show me an image here. And then I usually have one little universe, a past life, for lack of a term, that I'm processing over here. So my baseline waking up is 3 universes. So my ingestion of cannabis was to kind of go back down to human. Now, with the solidity and the confidence that my guidance team is giving me right now, these are big, big beings, powerful beings that I'm here to integrate. And so I don't want to ever miss any message. I don't want to ever miss anything that they're sharing with me. So I'm here for that. There's a soul sister and a light worker friend that just posted the other day that she has met her spirit team for the first time in this past week. I'm so excited and proud of you. And the way that we were chit-chatting, and she just said, like, they've been here the whole time. They've been there the whole time. So that is going to be a nice little parlay into the old ways of wisdom versus the new ways of wisdom. And we'll get into everything. I don't know what I'm going to title this video, because I just want everything in here together. So I had a channeling session the other day that was so powerful, and it really is in the same way that you and I are talking, and then my guides kind of chime in, and then like I feel like the translator sometimes. That's kind of like the way that channeling is right now for me, whereas I can hear them, then I speak to you. And there's never any real guarantee when it comes to channeling or mediumship, in my perspective. In my personal perspective and practice. You can call them on the telephone. That's kind of what channeling is. But if your personal vibration does not match your angels, your higher self, your grandparents, or future kiddos, whatever that may be, if that's not a vibrational match, there's nothing that I can do to give you those messages. They can't come into a fear-based mentality. They can't come into an egoic space. They can't do that because that's too dense of a vibration, too dense of a dimension. And so there's nothing that I can do personally to transcend that. So, and I will never lie, I've turned down many sessions as of late just because it wasn't a vibrational match, or there was different feelings from my end that if I go like this, I'm not the channeler. I had to turn down interviews because if I can't speak completely to the thing, I'm not going to pretend. I can't lie to you. I can't. Even at restaurants, I'm not going to tell you I've served a bottle of wine that I haven't served before. I've done it before in my past, God forgive me, but I can't do that anymore. It doesn't speak true. I was on the phone today with a friend of mine, one of the only people on this planet that knows me and that I will allow to judge me. I was on the phone with her today. And I gave a reference that I'm going to give to you now, that I will never say anything about anyone that I wouldn't, John Cusack, holding up a stereo outside of your house and blast the thing. I don't do that. I think it's poor taste, and it just doesn't vibrate with me anymore. And so even 2 years ago, I mean, if you knew me in restaurants, I loved the tea. I loved it. I steeped it. It was great. I'd serve it. It was beautiful. But it's not for me anymore. That's my trauma. That's my healing. That was my, time that I needed to go through. So, okie dokie. New guidance teams. So, I was in session the other day, and this is this is how you're going to be able to tell the old wisdom versus the new wisdom. I was chit-chatting with someone, and she was in a circle type of a situation, and there was someone leading the circle. And, she had said something along the lines of, like, I didn't want to overstep, or, I didn't want to overshare because, like, I'm not at that, that level of this. And then she would share with me her own images, her own downloads, and what God was showing to her. And it was pretty profound. Like, this woman's going to be channeling, like, ASAP. Like, it is so beautiful, and I'm so proud of her. And, like, my clients, I have the best clients in the world. I love every single one of you. You're so incredible and so just divine, just so divine. And so the way that you're going to be able to tell the old ways of the shaman and the old ways of the mystics and the old ways of the healers, in a sense, usually they're going to be physically on the older side. They're going to be older human beings. I want to say like older, like older than 44, I guess you could say, can be considered an older way of a wisdom. I want to make sure it's Gen X and up. Truly. I want to make sure it's Gen X, all of those up. So I don't remember exactly what year Gen Xers start, but from the Gen Xers up, the older ways of the shaman and the mystics, because they were the way showers. They were the ones, we must revere them. I did a whole video about respecting your elders, and I do elders in quotation marks because of what, pardon me, I'm about to say. If that shaman, mystic, healer, person that you are going to is not empowering you to share what your images are and giving you the tools to channel and do what it is that they do themselves, that is the old way. You had to go to them because it was such a very low and dense vibration on the planet that now we're busting through and we're breaking. So random people are coming online. Random people, every single person on this planet is going to be coming online to be able to channel, to be able to step into their clairvoyances, their clairaudience, all of their clairs. They're going to be able to do everything that I can do, you can do. Every single thing that the most gifted shaman on this planet can do, you can also do. But in the same way that, like, not everybody wants to be a surgeon, if you studied hard enough, your brain is limitless. You can become a surgeon, but not everybody is meant to do that. That's not everybody's calling. So, you're going to see a shaman, you're going to see a person, and, maybe they have something that you do every single week, or you do once a month, or their messages, you have to go see them for that. That's amazing. That's amazing. If they don't also have an offering for you to become a master at that same craft, time out. Just time out. Just time out. If that is not something that they are offering to you and they're saying you have to come back and see this once a week and do these things, just know that that's the human and you're paying their bills. That's it. I myself have a Patreon group that is a full moon and new moon workshop group. I love it. It's a wonderful thing. It does help pay my bills. It's me showing my craft and it's helping to pay my bills. But when you don't need me anymore, I want you to cancel that membership and just move on with your life. I want to empower you to do these things. That's it. The end of the day, once you do not need me, that is when I know that the world is okie dokie, and maybe I die at that time. Who knows? There's a lot of ego tapped in there. There's a lot of ego because it's almost like I work in service as well. And so I'll use the parable of waiting tables. When I'm give or take 10 years older minimum than every single person that I work with, than the majority of the people I work with. Some people are a little bit older and most of the people are in their, early to mid 20s. And so there are moments like, I referenced Delilah the other day, and not a single person knew what I was talking about. Not a single person. Yeah. Almost walked out. I didn't, but I'm just saying. I wanted to be dramatic about it. But like, Delilah. I was like, wow, you just sounded like Delilah right there. And she was like, what are you talking about? It's like, the radio station Delilah? And she's like, what was she talking about? It's like, I just literally walked away. I didn't know what to say. How do you describe Delilah? It was a toughie. So the new ways, there was also something that I wanted to reference. My dear friend had recommended me to go to this healer. The second I left, the healer messaged my friend and said, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Reverence for the client, because the client, I learned so much in my client sessions. I learned so much. And that's another thing that I'm changing about my sessions and stuff like that, is that I understand that my prices are my prices. I'm with you until the session's done. That's it. I'm not putting timers on anymore. I don't care however long it takes for you to receive what it is that you need to receive from that session. That's what you receive from that session. So just know that. If it's a recorded session, then yes, there's probably going to be a little bit of a time period. But I did a recorded mini session the other day that's 111, and it's supposed to be 20, 30 minutes. It ended up being 52 minutes. So I want to empower you. I want to give you as many tools as I possibly can, because I'm in a human body as well. So I also have bills to pay. I also have things that I need to live in this paradigm. So that's something that I'm dealing with right now. That's something that you're dealing with right now. So that's why we help each other out. I also have to highlight that I have trade clients. I also have to highlight that I have clients that I offer donation-based work. So if you're interested in any of my services, we can do my friends and family discount. Really. Just let me know what you need and how I can best help you. We can do a mini session. We can offer all of those things so I can efficiently give you some tools to help you help yourself. That's what we're here for as healers on this planet, is to empower you to understand efficiently how to do this work. The new ways of wisdom, how do I say? So the older shamans, and generationally, had to book learn, had to study, had to be, told that they were wrong, all of these things. The millennials is kind of in two different worlds, where half of the time we book learned, and then half of the time we just channel and we come online. I've been studying astrology for 4 or 5 years now. I've been doing energy work and had a meditation station since I was a child. I've been pulling tarot cards since I was a girl. And there's so many other things that I just read it, I understand it, I integrate it, and then the next day I just get it. So it's half in this world, half in the new world. The children that are being born nowadays are so quantum, are so knowledgeable, are not attached to karma in the same way. They will change the world. We need not project our issues onto them. They just get something. They see it and they get it. They understand things in a much quicker way, in a much more efficient way, in any capacity. I'm listening to my guides. There's something that's come through a few times in sessions that it's heavy. I might put a disclaimer below this because we're talking about heavy things. But, the technology addiction, that's going to parlay into the next thing. Actually, this is going to parlay into the homework I have for you, since it's kind of talking about the kids. So the technology addiction that we see, and that for me personally is very triggering, when I see kids it's you have neck issues and you're just stuck in your phone. It's because they're so telepathic that they need a way to kind of disassociate from the projections of their parents and the issues of their parents. For myself, when I was a child, I had ear infection after ear infection after ear infection because I could hear everything. Literally everything. And so if your kiddo is having those issues, it's interesting. I do work with teens and tweens and youngsters. So some of the parents that are watching this, I don't list any of my content to be for children because I talk about childhood sexualization and traumas that I've had as a child. But I do work with kiddos, or I work with parents of kiddos. So if you're interested, if what I'm saying right now, please send me an email and we can set up a free 10-minute consultation to see if I'm the right person for you. But I'm offering some validation that if your kiddo is having ear infections, eye infections, they are hearing and seeing everything. They are telepathic. I'm offering that validation. Their, childhood protector might be their, imaginary friend. Just know that they're speaking truth. Just know that they're speaking truth and they're not cuckoo pants. I mean, we're all cuckoo pants, but they're not cuckoo pants. So the kiddos nowadays, They are not addicted to technology. They are purposefully, their soul purposefully contracted this disassociation, this distraction until things change. Yeah, as adults, we are the ones to wake up, to see the systems that are breaking. This is going to wrap back around to the overly concerned. So I'm grateful for the quest that this whole talk is going to. That's my laundry. Oh, sorry. Okay. I hope that stops going off. I apologize in advance if it doesn't, because I'm just going to continue to do this in one little swip. But they're not addicted to technology. They will have a moment that their soul tells them now is the time to stop being on your phone. In the same way that after this healing session that I had, and a few other factors play into it, a few other like key players played into it. I really hope that stops going off soon. I don't know if you can hear it. But I just didn't want cannabis anymore. After this healing session, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll eventually, but I love the dreams. And this is kind of gross, but for people who get it will get it. The night sweats, it only lasted for 4 days. It felt like I was in rehab kind of, because it's been so long that I've been smoking, but I'm jazzed to go to bed now. I'm like, what other paradigm am I going to hop into? This is so safe and so wonderful and great. And I'm just here for it. I just feel like I'm riding on Pegasus and I'm just doing the thing. I think it'll stop soon. I think so, but I'm not getting up. So I want to offer to every single one of you some homework. If you're so worried about the kids and their technology addiction, after you watch any video, anything, I want you to stop, put down your phone, and just ask yourself, how did that make me feel? How did I, maybe even, stop and check in and just be like, oh, okay, this is how I feel. All right, I gotta turn it off. I apologize, I'm going to do it. I'm going. I'm here. Sorry. Ooh, pardon me. Put that back in. Now, after you watch anything, could be a ticker talker, could be a reel, could be a short, it could be a 3-hour Joe Rogan, it could be this video. I want you to stop and check in. Oh, so the fact that this is happening is popping into your head, so you can't do that. So that's a dopamine hit going on in your brain. It's an addiction. Yeah. So if you're overly concerned with the kids being attached to their telephones, look back. So now let's talk about the original intention for this video, which could be triggering, but then it's going to go over to gratitude for the trigger. So if you are in any possible way overly concerned with something that is happening on the other side of the planet, there's a psychological manipulation. Where it came from doesn't matter. You are gaslighting yourself into thinking that you do not have to look at your own dirty closet. You do not have to look at your own issues. You do not have to look at where you are in your own life, having troubles that you don't want to deal with and you don't want to look at. I'm speaking from I statements, and this is something that I've experienced, whereas I was, in 2020, it was all about the BLM, and it was all about all of these things where I was protesting and all of this, I was borderline homeless. Literally, I did not have a roof over my head. I was staying at people's houses and people's basements. My stuff was in a storage unit. I got the 10 by 10 storage unit because I might have had to sleep there. When I was trying on different pronouns, what was underneath that was roaring father issues, roaring pain. I needed my mother, I needed my father, and my inner child was screaming. Every single bit about what I was going through was on fire. But I was being told that this group of people was worse off than me. I was being told that like there could be something, maybe you're just not a girl, maybe you're just a they, maybe you're this. Like to this day, I identify as angel or alien. There's no way, I can't go to a surgeon and be like, can you please make me an alien? It's just not possible. That's who I am inside. But I'm also in a female body. That's the body that I chose. This is the body that I chose to be in. But as we know, we are consciousness running the avatar. We are not the avatar. When we identify, when we overly identify with this body, that's where we get stuck in the troubles. We are all God having this human experience. We are all God here on this planet, experiencing itself to see God in another. Truly. God got lonely and wanted to experience itself, so consciousness and math had a baby and it's this planet. That's the Big Bang. That's it. That's it. That's it. So I had to lose everything in my life. Every single thing. I had to burn down every relationship I had, every living situation I had, every job that I had, everything that I had. Oh, and I was waking and baking and I was smoking pot for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I didn't care about a single thing. So that's also another component that I want to throw in there, which is when you're stoned, you don't care. You just don't care. You're like, F it. Yeah, let's just protest. F it. Oh, somebody over there is just, okay, F it. Truly, 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 truly. I referenced this in my full moon and Sagittarius video called Naivete, which is like being naive, which is if you don't know what you want to do in this world, if you don't know the job that you want to do, if you don't have the mission, if you don't have it, don't put yourself into an establishment, because I find there to be some parental issues tucked in there. Because going to these, like, it's where does your relationship like with your parents? If you don't know what you want to do and you're having all these trouble, what is your relationship with your father, parental person? What is your relationship with your mother, nurturing person? Do you have a safe space to live? A lot of this is, based in financial fear. People are staying in relationships. I'm going to put the link below for the relationships are drastically changing video. Because a lot of people, and I recorded that last year, it's a lot to do with the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra transit. I recorded that in 2023. A lot of people are staying in situations that they don't want to be in solely based on the fact that they share rent or a mortgage with someone. Yeah, they're lying because of financial fear. And it's not, I don't have the answer for that. All I can say is I've been there. All I can say is I've been there. I've been in that verbally abusive, the relationship that I spoke of at the beginning of this video. In that relationship, we were living together, we were working together, we were sharing the same car, we were spending every single second of every day together. And when I would look in the mirror alone in the end of the day, I'd be like, how do I get out of this? I would have nowhere to live, nowhere to go. There's no way. I knew. That's the thing. The people that are in relationships that know, they know. You don't have to worry about them. If you think about a friend and you're like, you're in a terrible situation, you're in the wrong relationship, they know. They know. You don't have to worry about that. They already know. The best thing that you can do, the very best advice that I can give you, that you can offer to someone else, the advice that I myself have received and that I myself have given. When you're ready to talk about it, I'm here to listen. When you're ready to make changes in your life, I'm happy to support however I can. I love you. Just love them where they are, as they are, however they are. That's what you can do for them, truly. We're going to kind of talk about now a little bit of the vibrations of how to change things in 3D and how to change things in 5D, because you can't really change things in 3D because that paradigm is breaking. So I'll give a parable. I'll give, an astrologer that I really respect and have been following for many years, Pam Gregory. She's a very well-known astrologer on YouTube. And, I'm told that she says that she's active on Facebook as well. I'm not on Facebook. And so she has many a times said, I receive emails from people that are like basically saying, you sound kind of disassociated. You sound kind of like, how do you not care about what's going on the other side of the planet? How do you not care that, people are dying and, people are starving and people are getting, abused and the children, like, how do you not care? And truly it's like, what physically in this moment can I do about it? Were her words, not mine. Me worrying and sitting in lack and fear does nothing but lower the vibration of the entire planet, since we're the droplet of the universe and the universe all having a human experience. What we can do is express gratitude for the roof over our heads, for the clean water that we can go get and drink, for the relationships that we have, for our financial blessings. We can express gratitude, and after we are in that grounded space where our personal cup is runneth over, we send love and power and safety to every single person on the planet. And we love them, and we wish them health, and we wish them wealth, and we wish them safety and happiness and family and connection and gratitude and purpose. If everyone on the planet did that, the world would be a peaceful place. The world would be a beautiful place. If every person on the planet, and I've said this for many years, worried about themselves, their home, their family, their team, and their flock, and that's it. That's it. We'd be okay. We'd all be okay. But it starts here. It starts in your heart. It starts with you and yourself in the mirror. That's not happening. That's not happening. And I want to ask you, how many times have you seen, like, oh my God, can you believe this happened and this happened, this happened? And then 2 days later, it was like debunked. To be like, actually, wasn't that. It wasn't that. Or it was questioned, and then there was 2 different versions of it, and it was this, and it was that, and it was this, and it was that. So what exactly is reality? What's real? Yeah. So you have a beautiful sun-shining day, there's a few clouds in the sky. There's a moment where the cloud is over the sun, where you're standing. Is it a cloudy day? Is it not a cloudy day? Is the cup half full, or is it half empty? I got a download the other day. It was for Sarah the Avatar personally, because I still have gone through a lot of the, like, how can people believe this? How can, like, I still sometimes have that trigger, and we're going to parlay over to gratitude for the trigger after this, and I'm going to try to wrap it up. So when I, see people that Sarah the Avatar have been perceived to be in an incredible amount of fear. The, parable, my guides gave me the parable of the placebo. Where I was like, Sarah, that's your perspective. That works for them. That actually works for them. And it is real, and it is happening, and that is a full paradigm. That is a full reality that they are experiencing. So you get to learn how to see that that's another you, the egg, I posted that below. That's another you. So just find gratitude and say, I'm so glad. Thank you for taking that role on planet Earth right now. Thank you for running that avatar. That'd be displeasing to this avatar. So, oh my God, my ear just went deaf. This is hitting for a lot of people. Like, that's displeasing to my avatar. So, like, thank you for doing that, because I didn't want to do that in this world. So thank you for doing that, and I respect you. I respect you. I really hope that you have love, and that you have abundance, and that you have all the things that matter to me. Yeah. Yeah. I thought about doing a whole video on, like, what is a trigger and being thankful for the trigger, but I'm just going to talk about it now because I think it's going to wrap this present moment up in a nice little bow. Whereas when you see something that is displeasing and there's a bit of you that says, I know better. I know better. That's a gold nugget. That is the universe on our map, because we are map makers. This is our quest. I say that a lot in my astrology videos, where it's like your birth chart is your quest. Birth chart is your quest for this lifetime, and like what you're here to do and all those different things. So when you experience a trigger, find gratitude for it. because there's something inside of you that's that person, that human, that situation, that, whatever it may be, that is showing you your shadow and showing you that there's somewhere to heal. But it could also be like what you're about to heal, kind of like reversed cards when you're reading tarot, where it's like it's the arc, where it's like I'm about to heal it, I'm in the middle of healing it, or I've just healed it. And then that's the way that goes. My guides want me to share some personal triggers so I can offer a little bit of what that looks like. So I'm a waiter. I worked Mother's Day yesterday, and I had a really sweet person, like a mom and her like young kid, and the mom was like, my son says you're a really great waitress. She was server. And I was like, no, I love the term waiter. I love the term waitress. So like, please, like, there's no, however you choose to label that is fine. There's nothing negative about either of them. I was like, you're apologizing for your son's very kind, honest gesture. You don't have to correct him. He's fine. And so my trigger, because I've been in these relationships, I've been in these situations, and I was just discussing this the other day because I'm grateful for this trigger, and it's either showing me that I still have some healing to do there, or I've healed it, or I'm just on the tail end of healing it. But I'm not perfect, and I don't ever intend to be. So I'm sharing vulnerably and openly. So when a man sits in the banquette, when a man doesn't give his woman the best seat in the house, it triggers me. When I see them go 50-50, my brain is just like, run. I'm laughing at myself. It's literally me talking to my own view in the phone. So I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, that's me. That's where I am. And, I've been in those relationships. I've been there. I've been there. This is really vulnerable. And I just like, I don't wanna, but I'm gonna. So I've dated, I've been too far in my masculine before. And, that's definitely some of my work in this world, is really stepping into my feminine. It's something that I'm really balancing those scales right now, and, dealing with, either like I've stepped too far into my feminine sometime, and that's when, I attract, a very stalkery vibe or very possessive vibe. And, I've been in the past way too far in my masculine, and I attracted extremely, not men that were too far into their feminine. I also have had very serious father issues and attracted men with very serious mother issues. So I'm going to share some of these. So 2 breakups that I had in the past. 4 years, 3 years. I think 4 years. When I ended the relationship, and I was like, here's your, for one of them, I was like, here's your bag of stuff. And they're like, no, I want my Tupperware back. 2 relationships, their concern was getting the Tupperware containers back for the food. I'm feeling feelings. Sorry. Thank you for holding space for me. It's a cup of calm. I should have had a cup of water too. My apologies. I usually do. And so that's where I was. They were a reflection of me and what I needed to deal with and what I needed to heal. And now I'm learning to really balance those scales out and stay in my feminine, but not in my, siren capacity. I've taken down all of my body painting videos that were, overly exposed. I don't feel good about it anymore. I really don't. I don't need that attention. I'm not looking for it from anyone other than my king. And that was a huge trigger for me. And so I'm very grateful for that repeated pattern of mine to show me that there was still some gold in there to heal. There's still some gold in there to heal. So finding gratitude for the trigger, finding gratitude for the moment of, wow, it feels like my hair is on fire right now and I'm really embarrassed and there's some really gross things going on. It's kind of like if you get home after a busy day and you recognize that there's food in your teeth and you're like, I'm sorry, when did I have a salad? At lunch? At noon? I've interacted with dozens of people. Are you kidding me? Nobody told me. And it's like that. It's like finding gratitude for that moment and just being like, okay, well, maybe, that time that I, wanted to go pee, but I didn't because I was talking to someone. Maybe I should have just listened and gone to pee. Yeah, gratitude for the trigger. This is their reality. All right, I'm going to reference the last bullet point, and then I'm going to channel and see if I missed anything and then wrap it up. So I'm going to put the link for my Jupiter and Gemini video below if you're interested in astrological component to kind of give you more information about this. But again, stop after watching this video and check in with yourself and see how it made you feel. Maybe do some journaling too. And so Jupiter and Gemini, that transit is starting on May 25th, 2024. And so that's in a few weeks. And what I would recommend and what I referenced in that video is I'll do a part 2 to that video as well for my astrology peeps on this channel, just to go over the all signs reading. I'll do that soon. I know I was going to do that day, but I didn't. So I'm trying to find balance with all of my, content and channeling and really integrate a lot of what it is that I'm experiencing, because these new guides are like, they're like efficient, very efficient. So I'm just letting you know. There's going to be information overload. There's going to be information galore, both sides of the party lines, both sides of the divide, both sides of this is right and this is right and this is wrong and this is wrong. So everything is going to be right or wrong. There's no in between. So if you watch enough of this, you're all going to be given the yes, yes, yes. If you watch enough of this, it's going to be yes, yes, yes. But if you watch the other person's, it's like, holy goodness gracious sakes alive, how is it that you believe any of those things? Neither of them are right, neither of them are wrong. So the recommendations that I gave in that video are to shave the fat and unsubscribe from as many channels as you need to. Like content that have the few people that you respect what it is they put out there and follow them and watch it specifically. For example, like if you are on Instagram or, TikTok, go to that page of the person that you want to ingest their information and go watch as many of those videos as you possibly can. I highly recommend taking back control of this. Like I'd given that piece of homework after you watch anything, check in. If you want to do that, then it's like, how did that make me feel? Okay. Do I need something more? Yes. Okay. How did that make me feel? Because I've been there where I have seen a random piece of information that has changed my paradigm for the better. But sometimes I've also gone down the rabbit hole of certain pages where it's like the celebrity stuff, all of that, where it's like, it breaks my heart. I know it to be true. I believe it. I've experienced it in past lives. I get it. I see it. I send love to the children. That's like some of my specific work that I've done. My guides are also reminding me to offer that, and I've said it before, which is like, pick your flavor, pick your specific issue that's going on the planet. Yes, we send love to everybody, but like the children, like the sexualization of kiddos, that is what I focus on very specifically, and I send as much love and light and channeling as I possibly can to those souls. That's where I focus. So pick your favorite. There's issues all over the place. I'm hearing some of you say, like, you're saying you're not better than anybody else and you're just kind of going back on what it is. Your light and your intention, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're blessed. You have access to technology. You have access to a telephone or a computer screen. You have access in a way that many people all over the planet do not. So be grateful. Don't say I'm better than that person. Say, let me help send love and light to that person. We don't pity them. I'll give another example. So when I wait tables. So there are times that, people give, like 15% tips, or people stiff, and people do that. It happens to me, happens to sometimes in my community. And so there have been nights that, I have a table that gives a very generous tip, and then a friend of mine has not been given a good tip. Every fiber in my being says, take that in half and give it to that person. Everything inside of me says that. But I'm still building my business. I have bills to pay, and I have to make sure that they're paid all the time. Truly. I am not yet in the paradigm where I can do those things and start charities and open orphanages. I see that in my mind's eye. Yeah, and I spend time in meditation visualizing that, and I tell God, please bless this person. God, please take over. Like, give your very powerful, limitless brain focus to that person and say, universe, God of my understanding, please let them find that money. Let them find that experience. Because many a times, and this has happened, and please, if any of my waiters or service people have experienced this, please comment this below, because it's happens to me yesterday, it's happened to friends of mine, like many a times, that people come in the next day, or when they recognize that they fudged up the tip, that they come in and they repay. Truly, I had someone send money yesterday because on Saturday they fudged up the tip. And I didn't even think anything of it. I'm just like, oh, okay, thank you for, what you did give. That's where you are. Bless you. Thank you so much. It does hit your ego as service workers. We want to do a good job, and it is our job, and we have to tip on those things. Yeah, do you know that I have to tip the waits to the bartenders, and that I have to tip the waiters' aides? Yeah, I have to pay money for waiting on you. Do you know that? Just say, a lot of people don't. Because I know that there's been a whole like tipping issue in 2024, 2023, where, like self-checkouts are asking for tips nowadays. And so it's kind of like people don't tip on the wine, people don't tip on different things, and that's your prerogative. Like if you're there, then that's where you are. I get it. And I used to be all sassy, and I know that there's like pages like, if you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to go out to eat. It's like, we can, it's fine. As waiters, we can afford it. If you can't, that's fine. We'll take care of it for you. But I don't even know where I was going with that. But yeah, if you didn't know, we have to tip out on your food and your beverage and stuff like that. So just offering that, because a lot of people really don't know this. I'm not being condescending. A lot of people don't know that I have to tip the bartender on the drinks that they made and that I served you, and I have to tip the waiter's aide for the food that they brought you. So I just was letting you know. Jupiter and Gemini. That was a big old tangent, but I told you it was going to be a long video. So Jupiter and Gemini is going to be the most expansive information. Jupiter is our most gregarious, luckiest, overindulgent, indulgent blessing of a planet. It's the luck be a lady tonight planet. It's like hitting it big. It's legalities. It's, all these different things. And it's going to bless whatever area in your chart it's hitting. Jupiter runs the 9th house of quest, adventure, and long-distance travel and higher education and legalities, and Gemini runs the 3rd house of, early learning, communication, short trips. This is a mutable axis. So it's a very interesting transit that's coming. And like I said, I put the link below for that whole long-range video. It's just about the astrology, and I have my chat behind me and things like that. But really, if content isn't for you, stop following. If there are good triggers in there, like there are some content creators, light workers that I follow because they trigger the F out of me in the best way, because I'm like, this is what I need. This is what I need. Yeah, there's some like divine feminine and divine masculine content creators that are so well-versed and so intense. Like Teal Swan, for example. I had to go back and forth watching her stuff because there was so much that like my little inner child was like, meh! But she's spot on, and she's standing in her feminine power. Really. And I really revere her. I'm so impressed. I'm so proud. And it's just like, yeah, that's an empowered female. That is an empowered female. She even did a quote about that where it's like, people are so ready to stand for the empowered female when she's homeless and penniless and jobless and she's building herself back up again. But when she's standing in her truth and power, that's intense for a lot of people, and they don't want to. Even, there's there's been entrepreneurs and there's been, you know, business owners that are like, you know, people are on your side when you're the underdog, when you're coming up and when you're doing things and when you're, you know, like in the Rocky montage. But then when you get to a certain level of success, yeah, you lose a lot of people because they weren't on your team in the first place. One of the greatest quotes I ever heard was just like, people aren't always on your team, but they want the playbook. And I've done it. I've allowed people at my table that were so insulting that I like had to go through a lot of traumas and a lot of shamanic reverberations to deal with it. But we have to learn certain ways. And when we come from childhood issues, when we come from family issues or broken families, whatever it may be, we seek attention. When our inner adolescent is running the ship, we don't care if it's good, bad, or ugly. When you don't have emotional maturity or grounding, you don't care if someone's yelling at you. You don't care if someone is mean to you, if they're lying to you. You're receiving attention in whatever way you possibly can. I'm going to ask my guides if there's anything else that they'd like to add. Some of you are experiencing some really intense financial fear right now, and know that you are not alone in that, and know that it is a paradigm that you can do some really deep work on. I'd highlight the Think and Grow Rich. I'd highlight Bob Proctor's work. I'm going to put his page below. And this goes to your unconscious and your subconscious mind. And so it's just like, you know, a really incredible light worker and holistic health coach named Ron McKinnon. He's Thrive with Ron. I'd highlight his work because I was at a speech of his that was talking about self-sabotage and overcoming addictive behavior. That's local for the Gloucester area. And so definitely I'll put his website below as well, because he highlighted this in his speech and he speaks very eloquently of it, and he teaches this in his programs, where we have the conscious mind, which is like, I'm going to drink tea, I'm going to do this. Or, you know, he uses the parable of, you know, I'm going to go on a diet or I'm going to exercise. You know, maybe I've been told within my family, like, you're just big boned, but I'm like a bigger person. And, you know, you start your diet, you know, you do the New Year's resolution and you're at the gym and you're doing the thing. And then like 3 weeks later, you just dip back down again. Because that's your subconscious and your unconscious programs. That is the work that you have to do. That is what you have to actually fix. And that is just meditation tapes. That's going for walks in nature. There's not a single thing in this here and now. There's not a book you can study. You can get addicted to reading self-help books. There's nothing that you can do except rewire those unconscious and like subconscious programs. Yeah, though, listening to meditation tapes. Bob Proctor has a free one. It's like 8 hours of him saying my favorite phrase, and I write this literally in the beginning of every single guest check, every single day that I wait tables, I write this down, and I'm crap you not. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a regular or consistent basis, whichever word that you like to use for that. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a regular basis. Every single day I write that down. I've given that to other waiters. I've given that to other people when they're in lack mentality. It is literally a programming that you have to fix your mind to do. There's no book you can read. There's nothing that I can say. There's no YouTube video that you can watch. You gotta listen to this while you sleep. You gotta meditate with it. You gotta do the shadow work. You gotta look into the mirror. You gotta do all that stuff. That's the only way to actually change that paradigm. It's getting to those unconscious and subconscious programmings, and then the habit of habit, and doing it every single day. That's the only way. Yeah, your paradigm is how you feel about yourself, and also the result of your habits. Yeah, we're living in a third dimensional matrix. This is a video game. I've even heard perspectives that if you're not viewing it, it's kind of like if a tree falls in the forest, did it make a noise? It's like that what we don't view is load on demand. I've heard that perspective before. Yeah, even for me, certain things go out there and I'm like, what? How cool would that be? That, yeah, like the chair is not behind me, but it's only because you are viewing it and I'm viewing it through my phone. I don't know what to call this. I don't know. But I think I'm going to wrap it up now. I love you. I'm grateful for you. This was a big one, and I'm grateful just to be able to channel for the collective. I'm here for you if you ever need. My email address is listed below. I'm putting together a little Canva with my menu, but all of my services are listed on my website, so the link for that is below with the prices and everything. My Patreon group, the link is at the very top. If anything that I offer you has resonated or has helped you in any way, please consider donating. I'd be so grateful. It gives me the capacity to give more. I love what I get to do in this world. It's a wild, incredibly blessed time to be alive. Yeah, we just received the solar storms. I think we had the sun conjunct Uranus today, if it's the 13th. I think that was today. It was. So this is me doing things differently. You know, I love incorporating, like astrology is a lens, the tarot is a lens that I use, but processing, this is my language. This is what I love to do, is to see things in the outside world and to make sense of them and to offer you some information that can be validating, hopefully triggering so you can do efficient work. Yeah, my clients, I've said this before, I'm going to say it to like really wrap it up. I want you hopping paradigms in between times that we see each other. I'm going to give you so much information and then you get to like really jump paradigms, really, really, really jump paradigms in between. Because if all we're doing is chit-chatting and all we're doing is gossiping, that's the old ways of therapy. That's not the way of the world anymore. I did a whole video on that and like how it's the end of quote unquote therapy. I'll put the link below. Because yeah, we're all helping each other out. I've had quick conversations at the grocery store that have changed my entire world. Even some people that I've deemed to be the most unconscious have been the most blessed, and God has spoken through them. Even the fact that I've labeled them unconscious is a blessing. Love ya. See you on the other side.